Now I'm going to share with you a very beautiful story. It's part of a beautiful little booklet called Vedantic Tales. So it's about a burglar called Bakshee, and Bakshee the burglar made his living by robbing people in the forest and often killing them, looting them. And that was his livelihood, and he derived a strange sense of perverse power out of doing this. And at night, when he was a devotee of Shiva at the same time. It's so true what Sri Aurobindo says, that whatever darkness a person has, he has a proportionate light in him. Yeah? So if you have a very strong weakness, you have the potential to go to the opposite spectrum of that weakness into light. That's how balance is maintained in nature. We see this in Angulimal and other stories. No, people who are so violent go to the other end of ahimsa when they turn. So Bakshee perhaps is an example of this. So he used to get a great perverse sense of power in killing people. He used to be repelled by seeing people afraid of him. That fear would make him more angry and want to harm them more. He had all those qualities in him. And one day he saw a monk walking by, and he said that this monk looks like he has a bag and something. I'm going to rob him. So he went with his sword to attack the monk, and his hand got suspended midair. He just couldn't bring his hand down. And for once he started feeling afraid. Normally the person he attacks feels afraid, but he started feeling terribly frightened. And he told the monk, "What is going on? Why can't I move my hand? How am I going to live if my hand remains suspended like this?" So the monk smiled at him and said, "And how would I live if your hand came down?" So the moment he said that, the spell was released and his hand actually came down. But now Bakshee is saying something strange. This monk has some strange powers. And he looked at him, and it was a moment of Angulimal and Buddha. He felt a strange change sweeping over him when he saw this monk. And he said, "But how do I change? Even if I want to change, I've gone too far down the path." So the monk said, "I know you have a great love for Shiva." Monk was an enlightened being, he knew it. So Bakshee says yes. So he gave him a mantra, initiated him into it. And he says, "You have to promise me you'll stop killing, you'll beg for food, and day and night you'll chant this mantra." And the monk was leaving. So Bakshee said, wait, by now, of course, he knew this was his guru. He was in love with the man. He said, "I've just found you and you're leaving me. When will I see you again?" So the monk said, "Don't worry. When you're ready, I will send for you." So he left. Now years passed. Very often that old animal instinct would come in Bakshee. He would see people. He'd really have to hold himself back, but he kept his promise. He never killed. And he would keep repeating this mantra. And 10 years passed, and his guru didn't call for him. And Bakshee kept his word. He was begging, etc. But he was feeling a little dejected. He was thinking, has he forgotten about me? When will I see him again? And then one day in the forest, he saw another dacoit dragging a girl. Now Bakshee was somehow still a very skilled warrior, because that's what his training was. So he attacked the dacoit to save the girl, and he told the girl, run away. And the dacoit was furious, and he and Bakshee had a fight, and Bakshee can't kill the dacoit also. So he tied him up. But he knew that if he left the dacoit would somehow untie himself and get hold of the girl himself. So he had to keep the dacoit with him, like hold him to him. And as his luck would have it, just then his guru sent a disciple to Bakshee and said, the guru had given Bakshee a begging bowl before leaving. And the disciple said, "Oh, that's my guru's bowl, so you must be Bakshee. the Guru has finally called for you. And Bakshee feels his heart sinking because he can't leave this dacoit, because the dacoit would go to the girl. And he says, taking the dacoit to my Guru is taking my past to the Guru. I'm going to him with a dacoit with blood soil. He had blood on his hands and all that. And what a way I'll go to my Guru. It's like his whole past came back to him. But he says, never mind, if this is it, I'll go taking the dacoit to the Guru. So he goes to the Guru with the dacoit. Now I'm reading out the last bit of the story as it's written because it was very beautiful. So he goes to his Guru. But once he reaches his Guru, suddenly he sees there's no dacoit and there's no disciple. So he says, oh, has the dacoit killed the disciple? What a way I'm reaching my Guru. And he feels miserable. And then the Guru sees him and says, Bakshee, come my child. Why do you stand there in the dark? Come closer. Bakshee took a step into the moonlight. You found your way here, the holy man exclaimed. Come closer so that I need not shout. Sir, Bakshee said, taking 2 more steps into the clearing. Your disciple led us here. My disciple? Us? Is there then someone else in the shadows? Bakshee looked behind. There was no one. He peered deep into the forest and a terrible fear clutched his heart. While he had stood transfixed in his own rapture, the dacoit had freed his hands, throttled the young brahmacharin and escaped. Oh, sir, he cried, sir, your disciple, the dacoit, they are gone. A terrible thing has happened. Saying this, he put his head in his hands and wept. Bakshee's teacher stood up, his body tall and gleaming in the moonlight. Calm yourself, he said with a voice as loving as it was authoritative. Why are you weeping, my child? You brought the dacoit to me. Do you really think I don't know? He has gone now, forever gone. As for my disciple, you are my disciple. There has been no one but you. Come. There is no one but you, he repeated slowly, each word distinct. There is no one but you. You found your own way. Hear me, come. His teacher's words finally penetrated Bakshee's mind. What is the teacher telling Bakshee? There is no one but you. The dacoit has gone forever. As for my disciple, you are my disciple. You found your way. So what is he telling him? The dacoit represented his past. And the disciple who led him here was his own light that led him there. Because everything is one. So, you found your own way. Hear me, come. His teacher's words finally penetrated Bakshee's mind. Hearing them, the burden of grief and guilt dropped from him, as a burden in a dream will drop when one fully awakes. The brahmacharin was not slain. The dacoit had disappeared. His heart, he realized, was free, pure. Simultaneously, he realized something else. With joy and wonder, he ran the rest of the distance to Lord Shiva. So the Guru was Lord Shiva. The Guru had come to him as that monk. So he ran the rest of the distance to Lord Shiva and prostrated himself at his feet. The travelers came upon Bakshee's body lying in the road. A young woman of their group gave a cry and ran to him, and kneeling down felt his heart. He is dead. He had become one. His spirit had gone to Shiva. He said to her companions. She picked up his earthen bowl. What was the earthen bowl? The begging bowl the Guru had given him. She picked up his earthen bowl. How beautiful it is. It shines as though it were made of pure gold. Yeah, because the bowl had been, it was representative of Bakshee's journey in life. At the end of it, he had found gold of the spirit. So his bowl was like that. How beautiful it is. It shines as though it were made of pure gold. They carried Bakshee's body to the village, where it was cremated with honor by the villagers who had known him well. So this is a beautiful story which speaks of the oneness that everything is, and the fact that that oneness never gives up on anyone. Even whether you're Angulimal, and you've killed 900 plus people, whether you're Bakshee, if you have a love for God, somehow God will find a way to bring you home. There's such a beautiful line in Savitri: if the chamber's door is even a little ajar, what then can hinder God from stealing in? Or who forbid his kiss on the sleeping soul? So Bakshee was doing all kinds of things, but at night he would always remember Shiva and love Shiva. And that was that little opening in his heart. If the chamber's door is even a little ajar, what then can hinder God from stealing in? Or who forbid his kiss on the sleeping soul?